Hi, I'm Valerie Both Garrett. Welcome to our webinar for the Little Daffodil, an early springtime circle story. I like to call it a movement adventure for young children from ages 2.5 to 5. I learned this story from my colleague Julie Fellom, and she learned it from someone else at a workshop who learned it from someone else. And we traced it back, and we think it's inspired by some early work by the wonderful Margaret Meyercourt. You may be familiar with her work. In our webinar today, we will go through the story twice. First, so you can see the whole picture of the story and the progression of the movement, the verses, and the songs. Then I will introduce 3 key principles of movement education for early childhood and talk about them. And after that, we'll go back to the beginning of the Little Daffodil again, and this time with a deeper look at the aspects of the children's movement and how you choreograph the logistics of a very smooth and seamless circle. The circle itself lasts about 15 minutes, just so you know. And if you're ready, we'll get started right now.
As far as props, what I recommend that you have is that you have a selection of silks is ideal, a couple of brown silks and a green silk and a yellow silk, maybe even a pink silk, depending on the colors of the daffodils in your garden. And we are seated or standing in their circle, and the teacher just begins. Knock, knock. Who's there? King Winter cried. It is I, Lady Spring. Let me come inside. It's time for rain and snow to go, no longer here abide. And now this is what that movement would look like of the teacher.
Knock, knock. Who's there? King Winter cried. It is I, Lady Spring. Let me come inside. It's time for rain and snow to go, no longer here abide.
Now take hands with the children and begin walking in a ring to your left, which is clockwise. And you will sing this song as you walk slowly. And here we go. King Winter, be gone now, your rule goes away. The ice is a-breaking, the flowers are waking, soon cometh the spring. And continues. King Winter, be gone now, your rule goes away. The birds one and all now, with dutiful call now, bring tidings of spring. Now I take the first brown cloth and spread it on the floor and invite 1 or 2 of the children to come and be the little daffodil bulbs. They curl up on their knees on the cloth, and then I cover them with another brown cloth. That's correct. In the heart of a seed, so deep, a wee little daffodil bulb lay fast asleep. Then it heard a strange new sound. Spring is coming, spring is coming, spring is coming. What's that you say? Spring is coming, spring is coming, spring is coming. What's that you say? And now you lead by going onto your tummy and begin squirming forward, this very important movement like a worm, as this next song is sung. The little bulb asked its friend, the lowly worm. Oh, you lowly worm, you lowly, is it true what the ants have told me? Is it true that spring is coming? Is it coming verily? Yesterday upon my journey I could feel the earth was warmer, warmer than it's felt for days now. Growing up won't do you harm. And the little daffodil sends out her root and her shoot. And this is what that looks like. And the little daffodil, feeling so encouraged, sent out her root and her shoot even further. Thirsty, thirsty now I am. Please, rain fairies, come and bring your wet, wet raindrops. And the fairies do so, and this is what it looks like. And they began to dance. Oh, the rain, it rains every day. It rains its rainy course. And when it's had enough of that, why then it stops, of course. And the little daffodil, feeling so encouraged, sent out her little root and her little shoot a little further and fell back asleep. Soon she awakened. Oh, shivering, shivering now I am. Please, sun fairies, come, spread your golden rays to warm me up. And the sun does this, and it looks like this. And the sun fairies stretched out their golden rays, and they began to shine. Oh, the sun, it shines every day. It shines its shiny course. And when it's had enough of that, why then it stops, of course. And the little daffodil, feeling so encouraged, sent out her little root and her little shoot a little further, and she fell fast asleep. Soon she awakened. Oh, hot, hot, hot I am. Please, wind fairies, come and bring your cooling breezes. And the little wind fairies do, and it looks like this. Please send your cooling breezes. So the little winds whisper. They whisper as they pass. They tell their tiny secrets to the flowers and the grass. The little winds whisper. They whisper all about. The little winds whisper, but the big winds shout. And the little daffodil, feeling so encouraged, sent out her little root and her little shoot a little further and fell back asleep. Soon she awakened. Oh me, oh my, a big heavy stone is in my way. Please, gnomes of the stones, please help me make my way. And the gnomes of the stones do this, and they speak and move at the same time, and I will show you what that looks like right here. So they put on their big, heavy boots and picked up their heavy sack, put it on their back, and with very heavy legs, they begin to march. We are gnomes of the stones. We will work with the earth for the seed to give birth. And then they reach in with their strong hands and they pull. 1, 2, 3. And the little daffodil, feeling so encouraged, sends out her little root and her little shoot as far as she can and rolls onto her back. She gazes at the sun fairies. Onto her front, she feels the rain and wind fairies. Onto her feet, her roots reach down, down, down into the warm earth. And there she is, a beautiful daffodil. Daffy down Dilly is coming to town in a green petticoat and a gold gown. And the children and the friends are so happy they take hands in a ring and they begin to sing. Spring is coming, birdies build their nests. Weave together straw and feather, each one doing his best. Spring is coming, flowers are coming too. Pansies, lilies, daffodils, all are coming through. Spring is coming, all around is fair. Shiver, quiver on the river, joy is everywhere. And then we reach the end of the circle, and we're using the story of the Little Daffodil to illustrate movement education for young children. And in this program, we're working with 3 key principles. The first key principle is that we're working with the whole, not the parts. And what do I mean by that? That I always tell the whole circle story together. I don't take out parts and just practice one part and another day practice another part and on Friday put them together. The story is always done as a whole. Many of you may be familiar with the Spring is Coming song. I certainly was through my own children in the kindergarten. And of course, you may sing that other places. You have permission to do that. But in general, we don't take the pieces of the story apart like a general play for older children and rehearse different scenes and put them back together. Another illustration of the whole versus the parts is that everybody participates in the story. Everyone in the room is in the circle, if possible. There may be a child who's sitting out for one reason or another, or is not feeling up to participating in the circle, yet they're being in the space of the room, hearing the story, seeing the movement of the story. They are actually fully participating. And many of you may know this from your own experience with your children and your teaching. The second principle may not be so familiar to people. This is that the young child is not actually fully in their body. They are also very awake in the spaces around the body. We may say in the periphery, in the wider spaces of the room, of the home. They're not in the body in the same way an adult might be. And in this story, for example, or in your day or in your weekly home life, you have a certain rhythm that moves in and then out. You may call this a breathing rhythm. The circle moves toward the center, toward the daffodil bulb. It moves out again, taking hands in a ring. The action alternates between moving in toward the bulb speaking, the fairies having some action on the outside. And in that way, there is this in and out aspect continually repeating itself, allowing the children to be present in different spaces in different ways. This is very, very healthy for them. And the third principle is that the teacher, however, is in her body fully and also in the wider spaces at the same time. And this sounds like it's impossible or very difficult or a strange idea possibly, but this is the role of the teacher. With the young children, we don't want to be body conscious. We don't want to be pointing the spotlight of the presentation of the story toward yourself. You are the vehicle for the story, and in fact, you are the archetype of the gestures, so that your gestures are very clean and clear with nothing extra, no extra drama or impulse in the movement to engage or possibly engage the children, that we clarify all that away from our movement and just be very, very clean and pure in the gestures of our body and in the space around us. This possibly is a fourth principle, but I'm going to mention it now, that we lead with the gesture and the voice follows the gesture. The gesture begins, then the voice follows, almost like that kind of timing. And as one becomes more familiar with working with principles of spatial dynamics, we know that actually the space moves first, the physical body's movement follows the gesture of the space, and then the voice follows that. So you have a 1, 2, 3 possibility for creating the substance with the children that makes a story like this come alive. Alrighty. So you've got the message about the silks. If you don't have them, it's not the end of the world. But it's nice to have the color to create fully the picture. Also, before you would do a circle like this, perhaps you've already planted some bulbs with your children so they know what this is. That it's not a concept that has no coherence to their regular lives. So I do this circle after I've already begun my standard circle. I light the candle and I say my usual verses and actually play a couple of singing games, my usual routine that the children know. And I am confident that they are following me and are in this strong relationship of imitation. And I just begin by knock, knock. I never say, and now we will begin our story. I just begin. And who's there? King Winter cried. It is I, Lady Spring. Let me come inside. It's time for rain and snow to go, no longer here abide. I'd like to look at this movement one more time because this movement and the movement of the gnomes at the end are the most specific of all the movements for you to lead. And I think here you'll be able to see what I mean by the clarity of your movement as a teacher, that there's nothing extra, but it's very complete and very full. And let's just take a look at that.
Knock, knock. Who's there? King Winter cried. It is I, Lady Spring. Let me come inside. It's time for rain and snow to go, no longer here abide.
All right, so I'd like to speak just a little bit about some of these movements. So if I started King Winter and I were sitting on the floor, I would probably knock on the wood of the floor. But if I'm standing, I will start and I will knock on my hand with the palm facing me and the back of my hand facing outward to the children, and not the reverse. My feet are wide, my voice is strong, I take up a lot of space, I have a very strong stance. As soon as I change voices and become Lady Spring, bring my feet together, I slowly rotate the heart of my hands forward and wide, and then widen them into a curtsy of sorts. And you know your children, if they're very young, you may just keep your weight on both feet and just soften your knees. If you've got some 4 or 5-year-olds, you can go ahead and move one foot aside and give them a little more of a curtsy experience. And then the gestures of the rain and the go, shaking your head, no longer here abide. We'll just look at that one more time, I think.
Knock, knock. Who's there? King Winter cried. It is I, Lady Spring. let me come inside. It's time for rain and snow to go, no longer here abide.
As with all our work with the young child, we have to remember to slow ourselves down from our adult pace. And I am always reminding myself, particularly at this place between King Winter and Lady Spring, to slow myself down, that my gesture is slow and really clear, and so that the children can follow it. They may or may not do it, but they're certainly following it. All right, moving on. So this is a circling of the circle to the left. With an older group, I might walk them into a spiral, a reverse, and then a reverse spiral back into facing center. It's risky. You might lose half the group. It's challenging to do that, but I have done it. And if you have a couple of other adult helpers with you, that can help hold that together. It's absolutely not necessary, but after, as I say, with an older group, after you've done the story a number of times, you may be ready, and they may be ready for a little variation, and so you can take them on a little wander around the room. Okay, we're going to move on and not do that song again. You can review it on your own. Now we'll keep going. Then I have my cloths close at hand. Quickly just spread the brown cloth out. The children love being the daffodil. With a young group, I will always have at least two children there, or two children, so that no one's alone. It could feel lonely there. With an older group, or one that's very, very experienced with a story, would have one be in the center. I have my groups. Everybody wants to be the daffodil, and there's often a moment where they all jump on the brown cloth to be the daffodil, and I have to wrangle that a little bit and carefully choose someone and a friend. And as I cover with the second brown cloth, I will always place my hands on their back and give a little weighted pressure so that they can feel my hands and feel themselves whole underneath my hands. If this child who is the bulb is someone who particularly would benefit from some firm touch, and you might know what I'm talking about, and you will know who it is in your group that would benefit. This is a moment where I might even lean on them, sculpt their space a little bit, give them pressure on different parts of their back, on their shoulders, very briefly. They don't even know it's happening really, and the other children don't either. But it's a very beneficial moment for the child that's in the center there. And this, I mentioned that here as we begin. In the heart of a seed, so deep, a wee little daffodil bulb lay fast asleep. And then it heard a strange new sound. Spring is coming, spring is coming, spring is coming. And as that is spoken, I place the heart of my fingertips on the back of the bulb and gently tap. And many of the children want to join in, and they do that too. And this is a big fun moment where the children come in from the circle toward the center and give very, very light taps. And everybody says spring is coming, and it becomes a nice little whispering chorus together. And I say, "What's that you say?" You do it again, spring is coming. And I say it again, "What's that you say?" And then we continue on. As I mentioned before, the movement of the lowly worm is so important. It's one of those foundational movements. Some of you might be familiar with the zoo exercises of foundational movements to support the child's growth. So spending some time on the belly and squirming forward, whichever way they do it, is very, very beneficial. So this takes a little bit of time. You don't describe it, just do it, and sing the song. I'll just repeat it because it's a little odd. Oh, you lowly worm, you lowly, is it true what the ants have told me? Is it true that spring is coming? Is it coming verily? Now, why don't you join me? It's the same melody. Let's just sing the second verse. Yesterday upon my journey I could feel the earth was warmer, warmer than it's felt for days now. Growing up won't do you harm. And as I speak that last line, or sing it, growing up won't do you harm, I have taken it upon myself to just reach in and pat that little bulb on its back. And I feel like that's a really nice gesture right at that moment, and helps the character of the lowly worm shift a little bit. And then we go into the choruses of the little daffodil extending her root and her shoot, and she meets 3 sets of fairies. And those of you who've worked with me know that I have a hard time memorizing some of these verses. And so I remember this because I know when I wake up, I'm thirsty. And so this bulb is thirsty. And then there's water, and then it becomes cold because there's so much water, and then you need the sun to come and warm her up. And then it gets too hot, and then you need to cool off, and so the wind fairies come. So that's how I remember that sequence, and maybe that helps you too. The movement of the rain fairies can be anything you like that feels like to you the dancing. I'm demonstrating the simplest on the tippy toes, so it's very, very light and lifted. And you see me on the screen just in place turning around, but actually we are moving around the circle. You have to imagine that. And the children just love this. And if they add a spin or two or do some other twinkly movement, that is just wonderful. So let's just look at the song of that again.
And they began to dance. Oh, the rain, it rains every day. It rains its rainy course. And when it's had enough of that, why then it stops, of course.
And then we move to the sun fairies.
And the sun fairies stretched out their golden rays, and they began to shine. Oh, the sun, it shines every day. It shines its shiny course. And when it's had enough of that, why then it stops, of course.
But let's look at the wind fairies. This is very, very exciting. This is almost the most fun of the whole story for them. And I'll tell you the truth is that I usually do this twice because it's so much fun. Doing it once is not enough. Maybe even 3 times. So let's just look at this. And you can join in if you like.
Please send your cooling breezes. So the little winds whisper. They whisper as they pass. They tell their tiny secrets to the flowers and the grass. The little winds whisper. They whisper all about. The little winds whisper, but the big winds shout.
So the children will be all over the place with this, and that's fantastic. You'll notice that I move down into a crouch, almost a squat, and this is a movement we don't do enough in our culture. We don't get down there into a squat, and this one is a rocking squat, and so it's very beneficial for the children and, by the way, for you too. So just enjoy it. And as I said, I do it at least 2 times, often 3 times. They will get loud during the shout. It's so fun to get loud, and that's part of the game. So we move on, and then there's the big heavy stone, and calling the gnomes, who have this very strong rhythmic verse and a weighted gesture. And I'd like to point out in the movement, I am actually walking in the circle. I'm not actually in one place pretending to walk in a circle. So do it with the children moving in the circle. I am softening my knees and coming downwards, widening my stance, creating the gesture of heaviness. But if you notice, I'm actually not stomping and I'm not actually being heavy. So it still is in the realm of the young child's movement with the accent on lightness, I believe. And one other thing to notice as we move through it, I am, when we reach in to pull out the stone, 1, 2, 3, I am turning toward the left as I pull the stone out, 1, 2, 3, and I'm doing this in that side because I'm reaching in on my right side. And this is another, I would say, best practice, that we lead with our right side. We lead with our right hand, we lead with our right foot. We don't discuss it with the children. That's just how we model. And the children will do whatever they are going to do, of course, whether we like it or not. So here we go. Let's just look at the gnomes.
So they put on their big, heavy boots and picked up their heavy sack, put it on their back, and with very heavy legs, they begin to march. We are gnomes of the stones. We will work with the earth for the seed to give birth. And then they reach in with their strong hands and they pull. 1, 2, 3.
And there you go with that. Now, this next movement, as the daffodil loses the stone on her back and ends up upright, is something that I've added to the story. And we're going to do a whole program on this fundamental movement of the first year of the child, moving from the back to the stomach to the hands and knees to standing, and how beneficial that is and why. And I took the opportunity to add that movement progression at this moment in the story. So she's the bulb is on the ground as she has been, and I just speak the action and she will do it, basically. And the little daffodil, feeling so encouraged, sends out her little root and her little shoot as far as she can and rolls onto her back. She gazes at the sun fairies. Onto her front, she feels the rain and wind fairies. Onto her feet, her roots reach down, down, down into the warm earth. And there she stands. The first time this is done, I would probably choose an older child to demonstrate, to be the bulb, someone who will follow my voice, and follow this progression, so that you don't have to do any coaching in a different teaching voice at this moment or any time in the story. And then you have your other silks at hand. You wrap the green one on the bottom side, either around the waist or around the shoulders, and the gold above, either on the shoulders or perhaps even as a crown, with a little headdress holding that on in place. And take hands very quickly in the ring and begin to sing the Spring is Coming song, because this is a lot of attention on the one little child or two children in the middle of the circle. They also are taken into the circle. We do not circle around them, but they join the circle at that point.
Thank you for joining us at this webinar, a project of the Movement Academy Project. See our other webinars, teacher mentoring and training programs on our website, and more videos on our Vimeo video channel. Again, this is Valerie wishing you joy in movement.